Hey everyone, Red Rebel Jeff Jones here. In this video, I want to talk about the serious wastes of taxpayers' money that we've seen over the last couple of years with the Irish government. Now, some of these truly are bewildering. Like, it's impressive how they manage to waste the money the way they do, but all governments waste taxpayers' money, but for some reason, the Irish are just incredibly the Irish politicians are just incredibly good at wasting taxpayers' money in really bizarre ways. So let's go into a recent one, and that is the now infamous bike shelter in Leinster House, which cost €336,000. Now, this has almost become a meme, pretty much, where like I've seen companies offer bike sheds to customers and comparing I think it's like a couple of grand and comparing it to the Leinster House one to show us such a great deal kind of thing. It's almost kind of taking the piss, which I think is quite effective. I'll give them that, but it really does show how ridiculous this is. But that's not the first time we've seen ridiculous wastes of money like this. I think one of the most infamous ones has to be the printer that was purchased for, I think it was Kildare House a couple of years ago. However, they couldn't actually get it in the building because they realized the printer was too big to fit through the doors. So they stored it at the taxpayers' expense while they changed the doors to give more high clearance so they could put the printer in. Now, the printer was stored for months, for several months, until finally there was enough space so they could put the printer in. However, the printer, which is now installed, hasn't printed a page yet because the members in Kildare House have stated that they should get a pay rise to operate it as well as training. But training, fair enough. The pay rise, it's a fucking printer, guys. But also, that training wouldn't do much good for them anyway because the IT services in Kildare House are heavily reluctant to give it server permissions, which means it can't run. So it hasn't printed a single page yet. And the costs, it's been about over 2 million, I think it was. So that's another ridiculous one. And one final huge waste of money is the NGO sector. Now, I've talked about this in a previous video before, but I'll just kind of glance at it again. The NGO sector is ridiculously bloated. I think it's either 6 or 8 billion that goes to it. Now I think it's 85 to 90 billion is the government's total revenue. So it gets a good chunk of the funding. But there's so many groups that basically do the same job, and the government is paying all of them to do it. I will leave a link to my video in it down below in the description because I do go into more detail, but it is ridiculous how overbloated the NGO sector is. Now we can also I'm gonna go a bit outside the NGO sector a bit and go into quangos, which are quasi-governmental organisations. The biggest one is the HSE, the Health Service Executive. Now, to say the HSC has been a complete disaster over the last couple of years is understating it. Yeah, they're not very good at healthcare. Surprise, surprise, the public healthcare system is shit at healthcare. But a lot of these quangos are the same thing. Tourism Ireland, I think, you see, the Tourism Ireland is a marketing agency where it markets tourism in Ireland, which is understandable. But it hasn't really done much over the last couple of years, yet their budget keeps increasing. I think kind of the quango that deals with Irish food is, which is Sport Beer, I think it's called. It's really weird because that should be kind of farmed out, I think, a lot of that work to Irish companies that are more than capable of flying the flag. Companies like in the alcohol industry, for example, Jameson, Guinness, and we've brilliant food producers that are well capable of doing that as well. So why is the government doing it? It doesn't make sense. I think all this wasteful spending really shows the contempt that the politicians in Ireland have for the taxpayers. I think it's a real shame because we keep voting the Langers in. So you could say it's kind of on us. And I actually agree in some way. I don't vote for Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Greens, Sinn Féin. I don't vote for any of them because they're all the same. Like I generally vote for independence because, and I pay attention to what they say because not all independents are the same. Some of them are kind of a bit mad as well, but there are some quite a few good independents, and they're the ones I focus on. I think sanity really needs to come back into the budgeting of the Irish government. However, I'm not holding out much hope for that. So, what do you think? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear them. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and do not forget to subscribe to keep up with my latest videos. The Irish government is impressive at wasting taxpayers' money. And I think it's about time that the Irish people stood up and said, enough.